Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Dynasty Queens. I'm your host, Nia J, here with my beautiful co-host,
Pamela and Nicole. What's up, y'all?
You guys, we have a very special guest in the Dynasty house today. We have the beautiful, incomparable, world-known, beautiful actress, Miss Elise Neal.
Hello.
Now, Elise, we are both millennials here, right? So we watched you growing up on different shows like the Hughleys, all of us, like, you were that girl.
Yes.
And you still are. You're like that 90s fine type of situation.
I get that all the time.
So if you could explain to us how you have remained to stay so grounded throughout your extensive Hollywood career, because you that girl, but you're still grounded.
Thank you. Honestly, I shout out to my parents. So let's start from the beginning. Shout out to Arlita and my beautiful, 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 beautiful dad, Julius Neal. Shout out to my parents. They really instilled being who you are in any situation. And I think I've actually really lived my life by that motto. But I also believe I started off in this business as a dancer. And being a dancer doing tap, jazz, ballet since the age of 6 years old, it really taught me teamwork at an early age. If one person's leg doesn't match the height of the other person's leg, you have to start over. It's teamwork. It taught me not to be selfish as a performer. It taught me to always have to listen, and with that became growth. So at an early age, from dancing since the age of 6, I learned teamwork. I learned collaboration. I learned confidence, because I literally was saying this the other day. I have gotten standing ovations since the age of 7 years old. So I don't look for easy validation in small things. I think, and I also will tell you, young ladies, travel every and any time you can, because I started. So I'll just start from the beginning if y'all okay with that.
Absolutely. Sure. Go ahead and give us the whole rundown. We got time.
I started off really because I started dancing at 6. I went to Overton High School in Memphis, Tennessee, and got a full ride dance scholarship. I mean, I was that good. I was that good.
Okay.
Yes.
And so I got a full 4-year scholarship out of Overton, went to college to PCPA in Philadelphia, and it's a performing arts college, and it's right outside of New York. And so funny, I was so young and green, I didn't even know that Philadelphia was 30 minutes from New York City.
Oh, wow. Yes.
So I learned quickly that I was so close to New York City, and the girls and my friends would be like, "Girl, we're gonna go to New York for the weekend. I heard about an audition, womp, womp, womp." And I was like, "How far is it? I don't know if I got enough." They said, "Girl, come on, we take the treat train. We go up there for $5. Now it's New Jersey Transit, but it got a lot of stops. But we gonna make it. We'll be there in 3 hours." So we would go up to New York and audition for things, and I really started to learn about the entertainment business just from being in Philadelphia, for going to college in Philadelphia, and I love Philly. Shout out to Philly. And I hate that PCPA is now closed, because it's very close. It was very close to Temple University. So we would go to Temple to party, but I really feel like being a dancer really taught me a lot about just what it takes to be in the entertainment business, like perseverance, endurance, all of the things. Because as a dancer, you show up, it's 20 to 50 people there for the 2 parts. And then you have to learn a whole routine. And then they'd be like, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm tired." And they'd be like,
Right,
"Okay,
yeah.
we're gonna pick you 4, and you're gonna have to learn a whole nother routine." You'd be like, "Okay." Then you stay another 2 hours, you learn another routine, and then they narrow it down, and you may not get picked. So by the time I decided that I wanted to start becoming an actress, and I took a commercial workshop to learn about commercials, because a lot of my dancer friends were starting to book commercials. Um, I just really started to love a process that I didn't know about. Like movement and dance is, is
And let me
the
ask you a question too, Elise. So while you were, learning and coming up in the dance world, do you think that taught you like initially what rejection would be like? Because I imagine going to sets, as an actress in the industry, you got to sit there for, well, at least in the beginning, go to casting calls and stuff like that. So do you think
exactly.
did you learn that?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
All of that perseverance and going to auditions, and it's all these women there. It's as a dancer, it's all these people there, and they're gonna pick the 5 that they like. It taught, that's what I'm saying. It taught me and prepared me for the acting world, because
Love that.
I have been rejected from um millions of dancers and really routines, but also I have gotten the part from even when
Right.
I was a
Exactly.
performer. So I knew the process and wasn't afraid of the process of becoming an actor and having to sit in a room and people who looks like me being up for the role, because I had been there and done that already.
Mm-hmm.
So I would
Absolutely.
go into a room and audition, but obviously prepare and know my lines and all of those things. But to me, the comparison on my body and my exhaustion does not compare. So I never really complain about auditioning. I never really complain about there's a process. I knew from an early part of my career there is a process, and somebody gets it and somebody doesn't.
That's fair enough.
Absolutely. Now, Elise, I did have a question for you. As far as, you've had a grand repertoire of different genres of film, TV, if you will. What was the most challenging role that you had to play?
Thank you for asking that question. Um, there's 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. One being Rosewood. Now, first of all, let's just speak on how amazing John Singleton is and was, and I was blessed to have him as my mentor. So we did Rosewood together. That's when I first met John Singleton, when being in Rosewood. And, he just called me up and asked me, did I want the part in Hustle and Flow? But Rosewood is about a true story of people who Black people who lived in the South, and the white neighbors were jealous of their affluence, and it became a massacre.
Yeah, that was a
Yes,
classic, by the way.
absolutely.
John Amos, that's a classic.
John Amos was not in Rosewood.
Oh, he wasn't?
Esther Rolle was in Rosewood.
Oh, okay. That's what I knew one of them was. There's the Good Times connection. Esther Rowe most definitely was in Rosewood.
Exactly.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
She was amazing. I feel very blessed that I was able to work with her. But that one was difficult because, one, it was based on a true story, but also how we did that, guys, we were pretty much zombies. We did a month of night shoots. So that means when you do a night shoot, that means you have to try your best to sleep till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we would go to set like around 4 or 5 p.m. and you'd be shooting all the way up until the sun came up. And we did that for like a month.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's intense. And I can imagine with a project that is so emotionally driven, because
Mhm.
it's a historical piece.
Right.
So
Yeah.
how does one get to that place where you can actually portray the character and remain centered during it all? Do you go to your trailer like, let me just compose myself before I have to film such, dramatic and
Absolutely.
just challenging scene? Or what does Elise do in those type of situations?
That's a beautiful question. I'll say for me, playing Scrappy, the emotional part was just knowing what was going to happen from the truth. Scrappy's real name is Beulah. Beulah is a school teacher, and then everything starts to happen. As a person, I've learned early in acting class, I went to Academy of Dramatic Art. I learned that I try not to take on as the performer the whole scope of a production. How you really embody a character is really stick close to just your character. Beulah is just a cute little school teacher who's just trying to find a little husband. And she has no idea of the weight that the men of that time are going through. Um, but now once everything starts to happen and there's fighting and there's gunfights and there's tragedy and her family is dying and the people that she's close to are being killed. So I kind of took it on in steps, if that makes sense.
Okay.
The scenes that we're doing, I'm enjoying life and nothing has happened yet. I take it as the school teacher who's just enjoying her life and teaching the kids and everything is fine. And she done met a nice man that she may have a future with. So I take that on. And then when the tragedy starts to hit, I like to just do it all kind of the most in real time that I can. And then once we start to shoot the scenes with the tragic stuff, it's like real time. Somebody got shot, real time. They had fire going on. The real time we've got to escape. So I use my emotions in the real moments of what's going on with the character.
Okay. That makes a lot
Absolutely.
of sense.
That does make a lot of
Mhm.
sense. Now, following up with that too, Elise, I know you do reality TV and of course you do movies, you do shows. What would you say is a little bit more difficult or easier to convey? Would you say the movies or reality TV?
Well, reality TV is I love reality TV. I'll just say that. I love reality TV. I do know I will never do another reality TV show that I'm not the executive producer. I do know
Oh, no,
That's
that.
that's
fair
right.
enough. Because we know they make
Um,
those things one-sided and, to
Mhm.
portray a certain narrative that may not be what really happened.
Right.
yeah, and we all know that at this point. I think everybody knows that there's a producer in somebody's ear. They're having conversations with the other castmates to make things happen, which is not real reality. But I love reality. I love the concept of it. I love just bringing people together and having something real happen in real time in real moments with real folk. I love that. I just didn't like not having the control over my own narrative and creating fake narratives. That's something I don't think is cool.
I
Um,
think that's a fair
yeah.
I
assessment,
think so.
right? Very
Definitely.
fair.
And I would say that people that are on reality shows right now would feel that way.
Right, for sure.
True.
Now, I have to also ask because, like Pam is saying, you've been in a lot of different roles, different genres, different
Yeah.
type. What would you say is a role that you had that feels most comparable to the real Elise? It could be one of your TV mom roles or something to that effect, but something that really felt true to who you really are.
That's a great question. And I literally said this to somebody else, and I don't think I can curse on here, so I'll be nice. I said I literally be acting my aw. I think people really, really think I'm just very mild mannered and very polite, and um, I'm acting. Everything I've ever done is me in a role. The really least is hella silly, goofy, loves to party, she bowls, she loves music, she dances her butt off. I think it's very easy for some people to feel like the characters are real, but
Uh-huh.
everything
Yeah.
I do, I'm acting my butt off. Nothing is really because I'm not a mom. I can play a good mom because I had a great mom. I can play something like with more sass, like in Money Talks, Paula, because I've had relationships and men have gotten on my nerves. I can play different things by my life experiences, if you know what I'm saying. So I just take them on one at a time. I love being in Scream 2 and just being in the horror space. I love the fact that I've been lucky enough to be in a Marvel movie by doing the huge hit Logan, which even after last year was still in second place for the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. I just take them on one time and I love doing horror. I'm not horror, but like even indie movies like Restaurant that I did with Oscar winning Adrian Brody. Like I just take them on as they come and try to make them the best. And I'm just proud. I like to be proud of my work. That's really the best thing I can say. I just like to be proud of the work that I do.
Okay, I respect
Absolutely.
that.
For sure. Now, Elise, of course,
Yeah.
with all of your movies that you've done, can you tell me what was one of your most memorable moments on any set, on any movie that you've had with another A-lister such as yourself?
I'll tell you two funny ones. I'll tell you one of my, I guess you'd say my most shocking in my mind moments. Okay, so I'm a huge Hugh Jackman fan. And when I booked Logan, I was so excited because I love Hugh Jackman because, as you now know, I'm a singing, dancing now actress. So that is what Hugh Jackman is. He's a singing, dancer, actor, and I didn't realize I was going to be so starstruck to when I met him in real time. And I said, "Oh no!" I met him the day before we started shooting. And I was like, "Oh, no, I can't come to work like this because my character owns she owns a farm with her husband, and she don't know this man from nothing. So I gotta get all of the stuff away from my face and the twinkle in my eyes and everything I could feel that was going on when I was in his presence." And I literally watched like 5 Hugh Jackman movies the night before, so I'd just be over it, like, over it. Okay, okay.
Right.
So I
Just get it
watched
out your
all
system, girl. Get it out your system.
yeah, get it out of my head, like, you ain't nobody special, because we pick him up on the side of the road with Patrick's, character, and it goes on from there, so I had to really act like I didn't know him, didn't care about him, just let me help you.
Got you.
That's cute.
And then another one that was just so fun was working on Scream 2, and Nev Campbell and I got in trouble because we got the giggles in the back of the car.
See, that was one of those moments that's like that girlfriend that you can't take to, a quiet place
Right. It's
because
like,
y'all acting up.
like, hush, girl, we trying to get this scene going. What you
We
doing?
was back in this car, like, then I think we locked eyes or something. Then we were like, and we just could not stop laughing at each other. And finally, Wes, and again, so many legends have passed, but like he had to be like, "Ladies, like get it together," so he can finish freaking.
Get it together, ladies. What are we doing? This is a horror film. You're supposed to be terrified here.
Right.
Exactly. We couldn't stop laughing for a good like 15 minutes, but we made it work.
There you go.
Right. I love that.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Yes, she definitely wanted to mention that with you as well.
Oh,
Now, Elise, I wanted to switch gears a little bit. I wanted to talk about your work with your masterclass program that you have, and what was the reason behind that, and how did you end up getting into philanthropy in the first place? And talk about how important masterclass is to you.
Okay. Well, I'll start by answering the first part of the question. Philanthropy has always been really important. And my mom, who's also passed, was a nurse, and as I mentioned, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. So, for about 8 years, I have been the African American liaison to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which is located in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm not that anymore, but I did it for 8 years straight. And I used to bring like Lance Gross, different celebrities, China McClain, and get them to come to St. Jude and do tours and help. I've always been very about helping other people because I know for me that success didn't come by myself. Because and to get to the masterclass, I knew nothing about the entertainment business. As I mentioned, my mom was a nurse, my dad was a construction worker, and no one in my family had ever been in the entertainment business. I have a cousin that plays the saxophone, and he's an entrepreneur more so now than back then. But I really just had to ask questions and get help and really listen and really learn from other people, or I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And I get so many people from my hometown that just either they're getting wrong information or incorrect information about how to make it. And as a person who's done all the steps and traveled all over the world, and as you mentioned, done comedy, drama, horror, all the things. It gives me joy to come back to Memphis, and I started this called Lights Camera Action. It is my master class that I do, and I give them tips, tricks, easy ways to actually make money in the entertainment business. I feel like so many people think that you have to be number one in the call sheet, or you have to be in the big production to actually be an actor or be in the business and make a living. But when I first started, I was in the union, but I would do background work for, true story, fun fact, I don't think I've said this on the interview. I was Robin Givens' stand-in on Boomerang.
Oh,
Oh,
really? That's a
wow.
little historical tidbit that you shared on Dynasty
Exactly.
Queens. Okay, up close and
And
personal.
and it was really one of the first times I had been on a set as an actress in a role of an actress for a month. Like, it was really one of the first things I ever did. And I made a good $5,000 being the stand-in.
Right. So how was that on the set of Boomerang? How did that feel? Because I know it's like a stand-in role, but I mean, this was the beginning of
So
your
for me, it
career.
was like, first of all, I was still, yeah. I mean, because for me, I learned a lot from, again, I feel like a lot of people want to skip steps, right? I feel like a lot of people think, give me the big part. Like, give me the big part. I don't want to do the small. But I feel for me, I learned so much about, and like I was just talking to you guys as we were setting up, camera left, camera right. What does that mean? When they put the marks down, what does that mean? When they put a piece of tape by your foot, oh, you're supposed to stand on it. I learned all of that because I took that on as being a stand-in. So I didn't have to learn that on the set when I got the booking. I learned it before that. So it was amazing. Listen, I look at life like you can it can be glass half full or glass half empty. And I like to take the experience and make it full. And I had fun. Now with some long nights, I think one of my worst nights is the scene. I know you guys will know it when he says that he's over Jacqueline and they're not going to be together anymore. And I don't know if I guess I noticed it because I was there. There's like smoke, coal smoke billowing in the back of that scene. I remember because it was 20 degrees
Oh.
and I was the person out there in her little bitty coat, like this was, in the beginning, in my little small coat out there for them to mark where Robin Givens was going to stand and everything. But again, I learned all of that by being the stand-in and not the main person. So it's good to be on a set and learn everything and
Right.
get comfortable. And I felt like I had a ball. I met everybody. Even when I see Eddie to this day, I'll be like, hey, and he'll be like, he remembers.
Right. Of
Um,
course.
I just think it was really great for me to do that and be a part of that and learn the process. It's really one of the first sets I ever was on.
That's
Right.
what's up.
Yeah.
Now, in addition to, you've talked about St. Jude, you're talking about your master class. Can you tell us how you got to be a keynote speaker in Arkansas, one of the universities? How did you get that?
I absolutely love, as you can see, I like to run my mouth.
Oh, we love
And
that. We love guests who
I
like to talk.
absolutely love talking on the experience. And I've done at least 10 keynote speaking engagements at this point. And with age comes wisdom, and I love just helping people understand the process and share my journey and hope that it inspires them to follow their dreams and do more. And one of the radio personalities, shout out to Stormy, she's an iHeartRadio personality. She called me because someone reached out to her and was like, "Hey, they would love you to be the guest speaker, the keynote speaker for their closing ceremony." And I was like, "Absolutely." And I loved it. I loved um it's so funny because sometimes the room was full, like there wasn't a seat that wasn't. And, you can do a speaking engagement and I'm telling stuff and I'm telling stories and then I'm getting a little laugh here and there. But you just don't know. But then when it was over, it was a line. I had to be at least 100. Most of the people who were there was like they wanted to be in line to get an autograph. Cause I'm thinking, okay, did good. Everybody's getting ready to go home. And I was signing autographs for a good 2 hours after after the
Oh,
event.
wow.
But
Okay.
I love doing stuff like that. I think it's part of the process. Either you love public speaking or you don't, but I love to share and tell stories and make sure that everybody gets their autograph or picture. It just makes me feel good.
This episode of Dynasty Queens is sponsored by Drip Talk, the social media app for fashion.
If you love style, drip, and staying ahead of the trends, this app is definitely for you, baby.
Discover new trends, exclusive pieces, and real creators all in one place.
That's right. Post your pics, follow your faves, and connect with the culture.
Download the Drip Top app today on Apple and Google Play. Don't forget to scan the QR code below and visit driptalk.com.
Stay fresh, stay bold, stay Drip Talk.
One of the lovely features I love about Drip Talk, girl, I love that you can do the voice feature. I love people having they know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just like mundane words. You can text anything.
Right.
And, it comes across however people want it versus if you have it on the actual picture, they know exactly what kind of thing you're trying to get across,
Very true.
You know what I mean?
And also, you know how sometimes you're in the mall looking for an outfit. You don't know exactly what to get for the event.
For real.
They have a new AI feature. You can simply type in the type of genre of outfit you're looking for, try to put your look together, and it'll do it for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's such a cool feature that's a part of the app that I don't think people really know about or talk about enough.
That's true.
I just love it.
And did you know it gives you the stores too?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. If you don't know what store that you're looking at the item,
Yeah.
the AI feature definitely lets you know where you can pick it up at.
Yes. And it's so more personable than a lot of other, social media platforms.
Yeah.
Because it's a community. Like we can
Exactly.
share our trends, we can share our creativity because we express ourselves through how we dress.
Absolutely.
So I just love the fact that, that's what it's building. It's building a real community with real people, with real cute outfits and looks, and technology is integrated. And I love that. So make sure
Absolutely.
you guys download the Drip Top app today.
Yes.
Tell them Nia and Jay and Pamela sent you. Now, I like to really get to the nitty gritty of things. I ask a lot of possibly uncomfortable questions to people, but I like to get real responses.
Okay, we will see if I answer. Let's go.
Okay. Has there been a set that you've been on where the energy wasn't really giving what you would expect it to give, or perhaps a co-star or counterpart you had that really, wasn't really your cup of tea, but obviously it wasn't portrayed to the audience that way because we loved everything you've been in, honey. So just, I'm sure there's been some people that kind of have rubbed you the wrong way in the industry. And then on the flip side, give us someone that was a dear role model to you when you were like up and coming in the game.
Okay, so at the bottom line is I tell people this. No, this is a job, right? This business, this entertainment business is a job. It's a job like any other job. Everybody doesn't like every person they work with. Everybody doesn't vibe with everybody that they work with in most job situations. So there's been tons of people that I don't vibe with and probably don't vibe with me. But that's just life. Like, I don't like everybody. Everybody don't have to like me. But I prefer jobs that are fun, that we're having fun, that we're doing everything. But there's lots of jobs that, I'll sit in my trailer because I don't know how that's going to go on set, or I'll can't wait to get home. Like I said, like any other job, if you don't like certain people, you'd be like, girl, let me get this check. Let me go home on this one.
Right.
But that's everybody. That's everybody. I think there's a misconception that in the entertainment business that it's all kumbaya like all the time, but every job, people who work at the post office may not like the girl that's sitting next to them. So it is what it is. And we just do the job and try to do it the best way that we can.
True.
But
I did.
I'm sorry, I wanted to answer the last part because I want to go from the sour to the sweet.
Yes.
But
There was a
I
two-part
feel like
question.
I've
My
been
bad.
extremely blessed to have people like John Singleton and him being my mentor. God rest his soul. Up until he died, he was my mentor. He was always somebody I could call and be like, why do I have stalkers? Why is this person trying to mess with me? Like, I don't understand. I'm a nice person. And he was like, Elise, just get over it. Some people, he would just be very blunt. Like some people, especially women, have, people who see you on television and they have fantasies and it can possibly be that stalker. But I've had 5, child.
Really? Talk about that, Elise. You've had people send you like letters, emails. What kind of, without having to get too into your personal business, but since you brought it up,
Well, I'll give the first one because I like to share it because one, we as women, and it could be a man too, you know, you got to know when to be aware. And so my first 1-year contract role was on a soap opera called Loving. Y'all are too young. Y'all are too young.
You think?
Uh, but that was my first role. It was an ABC soap opera. And again, first time I'm on sets and stuff, and I was just getting ready to go to my first role on a television show, which is called Sequest. That's the first television show I ever did. And so this was on NBC. So I was on Loving, and I went to the airport, getting ready to go down. We shot in Orlando, Florida. The guy, I won't say the airport, but the guy who handles the bags and stuff at the airport is like, I know your face. You're on that soap opera. I'm just like, oh my God. Wow. Yeah, he's like, you play that Janie on that Love Him. Yeah, that's me. How are you? And then, you know, I'm talking to him a little bit because he was talking about the show. And then he's like, well, let me help you with your bag. I'm like, sure. And side note to everybody, you know how they tell you to put your phone number on there? Don't do it.
Oh
Don't put your
no.
phone number. Put your work number. Put a friend's number. Put your mama number. Don't put your phone number. I'm just going protocol. They say put your phone number, and this is early in my career, so I do it anyway. So hold that. He's like, "Let me help you. I want to talk about the show." He's talking to me. He walks me a little bit toward the gate. I go about my way. I land in Orlando, Florida. The next day, I was probably on set all day. Now, this is what I'm grateful for. Um, they hadn't set up my phone and everything in my apartment and stuff yet because I just got there, right? They had an apartment for me. It's all new, so nothing is set up. When we set up the back when they had voice, you had a landline. Y'all don't even know about that. We had the little
Answer
landline.
machine. We
I
know,
thought
we
it
know. We must look younger than we are, but we know.
we definitely know.
Oh, so we set up the answer machine. Probably I'd been there like 3 days. This man has left about 10 messages on the phone number that I put. Because luckily, I put the phone number to where I was going. He had left 10 messages.
That is a damn
The
shame.
audacity.
What?
It's worse. It gets worse. So then I tell production, like, oh, this guy, I can't believe he did this. So they give me another number. Now he's calling production.
Oh my God.
Now he's giving mean messages and crazy messages to production,
Oh,
telling them how he knows my address because I had put the address on there too. Know how they tell you put your address?
oh no, Elise. Little young naive Elise. Look, we need the scoop, huh?
You doing the instructions that they tell you when you go to the airport. And
That's a shame.
I had to move just for safety. But yeah,
Wow. So what did that situation really, I guess, in the midst of it all, you're like, okay, well, I've reached a level of stardom where, you know, I got to really be on my P's and Q's. So how
I
did
just
you move
called,
about
that's
after
what I'm saying.
that?
I called John Singleton like, what is happening? Like, I just getting started. Why are they doing this? You know, and that's when he said, just get over it. Like, it happened. This is your first experience, you know. Um, and again, I'm not going to tell the airline, because I had to report it. I had to report it.
Oh, of course,
It was the whole thing. But honestly, it's happened, you know, 3 times since then that were bad, you know. So I feel like, I don't know, it happens to some people in entertainment, just like, you know, Taylor Swift gets stalked. There's been, you know, people pick weird random, it's just a random thing. And that's why I think John was just being like, you know, curt, like, get over it, because there's really nothing you can do. But in this day and age, you know, you can make sure, you know, if you're getting cyber stalked and stuff, you can do what you can. But it's something that you have to just kind of still live your life. I've never been the type that's not gonna still live my life, but I just like to say it because it's, we all get told, like, put your number, put your thing, and you're not thinking that the bad could happen.
Absolutely. Same thing with like, our phones. All of our phones have that GPS tracking in it now. And, now social media, they have like on Instagram and like Meta, they have all these things where it tracks where you are in real time. It's a
And I don't
scary
know if you'll notice,
time.
mine is always a location off. My location
Smart.
is always off on all my social media. I do not care because I've lived and I've learned.
Right, for sure.
So,
Now, Elise, because I consider myself to be a fitness girly for sure. Let's talk about your fitness journey because, I don't put women's ages out there, but you look quite fabulous. Okay. You look mighty fine. So tell us about your journey through fitness and everything you have going on because we can see your body on social media and see how you become one and everything with, I guess the woosah of it all, right? So tell us about how that journey has been for you.
well, see, that's why I always like to split in interviews go from the beginning because again, I've been a dancer since I was 6. So movement and taking care of my body has been my entire life. Like my entire life has been that, and making sure that I eat right, making sure that I stretch, making sure that I'm in tune with my body because it's really all that we all have. And I just, never take that lightly. So it's so crazy to think, and I'll never forget that DL Hughleys, who I still consider like a friend, like maybe 2, 3 years ago, he did this post because when I was 50 years old, on my 50th birthday, I broke the internet for a bikini picture that I posted. And it's so crazy because I was getting ready to go do the shoot, and I just told myself, for me, and I honestly want to talk about this because as women, you know, it's a lot of chatter about women and their ages and what do they look like. And I'll even say, even yesterday, I was really getting pissed. Like they were talking smack about Rihanna, and it's like, let women be. Like, let us age. We're all getting older. Women, men, we all get older. But is life supposed to be about what we look like or what do we give to the world? And who do we help? How do we serve? Who loves us? That's our life. And, as a person who's also been blessed to travel all over the world, it's really just the United States that acts like this. I go to Paris and I've performed in Brussels and all over the world, and no one gives that ageism that Americans do. And I just feel like when to grow older, I feel even more confident in my skin. I feel as you grow, you feel that you've learned so much in your lessons, just like I learned a lesson from being 26 and putting my address and stuff. Like I know better now, but I mean, it really was shocking to me because I just said, look, 50, big one, I'm going to be in the best shape of my life. And I was. I'm not going to lie, I was. And then I went and took a photo, and the photographer wanted to check the light. So I posted the picture of him just kind of checking the light, and one of my assistants took the picture, and so you could see him, me, posing. And I posted it like, "Hey, birthday tomorrow," something something caption, and went to sleep. And when I woke up, I promise you, I thought, what happened in my family? What my phone is like going off like crazy. I open up social media apps. It's on Entertainment Tonight. It's on the Daily Mail overseas. It's on Essence. It's everywhere. Oh, wow. Like people were shocked. People were shocked. But I absolutely I love being a woman, first of all, and I just love the, age. You'll be, ladies, just love your life. Whatever you wanna do, it really doesn't have anything to do with age. It's what your mind wants to do. If your body is healthy, you can do anything you want. If you wanted to say tomorrow, "Imma be a stunt woman," you could do it. You could do it.
And you know what? That's something I think with age that we learn, because I will admit I'm 36 years old. You know what I mean? So there was a point in my life where I thought I had to reach, certain milestones. But then it was some point in time where I was like, you know what? I don't really give a friggity freak anymore. I'm going to
Right.
live my life unapologetically the way I want to. So I think that women like yourself, you're admirable to people like myself, and I'm sure Pam can attest as well.
Absolutely.
And I think it's perfectly fine that you have a banging body and you give back. How about the inside matches the outside? Hello,
It does.
clock
And
it.
that's what I want. I want the inside to match the outside. I feel good. I feel happy. I can still do cartwheels.
I
I
know
can
that's
still do
right.
I can still do a split. I like to
Okay.
just enjoy my life. And I promise you, it only gets better if you allow it to, you
Right.
know, if you don't listen to the noise, if you don't listen to people try to tell you, girl, you ain't married yet, girl, what you gonna do, or whatever, or you haven't had a kid yet. It's your life. You can live it the way you want. Like I spent most of the day with my cousin and three of his kids in the pool, enjoying life and giggling. And I was like, oh, gotta start getting ready for this interview. Like we were just up at the pool. Like, life is too short, ladies. I promise you. And by the way, please get a passport and please go out to Europe. You will know. I want to hear what you tell me when you come back, because I I did a lot of touring when I was younger, especially as a performer, and I did a with touring company that we actually were in Monte Carlo on a show for the whole summer. It's so funny that I see people talking about Monte Carlo now. We performed at the Grand Prix party, but all summer long. But the same group of girls, we did something for the Grand Prix of Monaco. That would had to be like late 80s.
Oh wow.
But like I said, live your life. I know all about Monte Carlo. It was a young guy there that I promise you, uh, I'll tell a hilarious story. Like years ago, I was engaged to F. Gary Gray, the director. And I I'm sitting in the house with Gary, and and the phone rings. We had landlines then, ladies. We had landlines. And I answer the phone, and I hear this guy with an accent on the phone. And he goes, Eliza, is that you? And I'm like, I know this voice. And I'm like, is this Ian from Monte Carlo on the phone? He's like, it is. I found you.
Oh, wow.
Sir. I said, yeah, but I said, I'm here with my fiance. This is our house
Ooh.
phone number. So I was in my office at the time. I'll never forget this because it was just so crazy. I was in my office. And so I'm just kind of just shook and like, oh my God, how you doing? Like, I'm just shook, right? It's not a interest of, I want to see what's up. It was more just the shock and interest of the man with the accent that I dated back when I was a performer is on my phone. And I just was like, how are you? Where you been? How'd you get this number? It's all of the things. Child, he was very wealthy. He hired a private investigator.
Wow.
Anyway.
Well, you left an impression on that man.
Right, I was about to
Quite
say.
the impression.
I'm not gonna talk about what I do. I'm not gonna talk about what I do. I'm not gonna talk about how I leave them. I'm not gonna talk about it. Anyway.
Wow, Miss
Anyway. So I'm just kind of like, how you been good? You working? How's life? And then in comes Gary into the room, and he's like, "Who's that on the phone? Who you talking to?" I'm like, "You will not believe this. This is this guy Ian from way back when I was in Monte Carlo." He's like, "Hang up the phone."
I know. He was like, you ain't playing that in this
Nope.
house.
Like, okay, Ian, yeah, I gotta go. All right, well, it's good talking to you.
Dang.
That's
After all
wild.
these private investigators and researching just for to end that way.
He wanted that
5
old thing
minutes. He
back.
had 5 minutes on the phone with me before the fiance was like, "Get off the phone, girl."
He
He
wanted that
wasn't
old
playing.
Monte Carlo,
Well, that old
the Monte
thing,
Carlo
dancer
fling
back, right?
Saying that for you ladies to get your passport. That's what I'm saying it for.
Fortunately, I have mine. I've been to
Same.
several Caribbean countries, Mexico, but I need to make my way to Europe.
You need to go over to Nice. Nice, France is Nice, France. Italy, Monte Carlo.
Wow.
We'll put that on the list, Elise.
Yes.
So, Elise, I was wondering, I know we've gone over your dancing, we've gone over going into being an actress. When did you make the transition to be a screenwriter and a producer?
I believe when I felt like it's time for me to take my own narrative. Like I want to be the creator and have shows that I've written so I can produce them and the visions that I see in my head for shows or movies come to life. And one of the first ones I ever did as a co-EP was the movie Survival that's on my resume. And that was very difficult to be the even the co-EP and the lead talent. So when these people do that, I'm like, ooh, I don't know how y'all do that. It was a lot.
Man, sounds like a lot to do.
It
Just to be
does.
responsible for so much for like
Right.
your own production.
And how was that transition? Because coming from being an actress, for so long to
Mhm.
being on the other side of it,
True.
Yeah.
did you feel more pressure than before? Were you like, you know what? I asked for it, so let's just go with the flow. Or how did you feel the moment while you were like, wow,
What's the hard part is no sleep. As a AP, you're having meetings all day and night. So we would be having meetings about money, meetings about sets. So the biggest thing about being on a set and being the EP and the actress is the no sleep. So I would do meetings till midnight about the production. But see, you're number one on the call sheet. So I would have to still turn right back around and be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. The responsibility in terms of the hours and lack of sleep would be the worst part. You are responsible for what happens in the set, every aspect of it as an executive producer. And being number one on the call sheet just means you have to turn around and be the first person there and the last person to leave. So I would be first person there doing everything as an actress, but then at 11 o'clock at night, we still had meetings to confirm the set for the next day, confirm actors for the next day, confirm. So yeah, it was a lot.
got you.
Man.
But I'm sure at the end of that whole experience, you were like, you know what? It was worth it because that was your baby, right? Because not only
Yeah.
were you starring in it, but you actually had a lot of creative control. So
Mhm. So I mean, it's really something. I mean, it's really something I'm really proud of because I promise you, I thought I was gonna really be passing out every day. I thought I was really. It was exhausting, but the product of that movie is really, really good.
got you.
Good.
And then which film or production that you've, been EP of are you most proud of? Are you like, you know what? This the one right here.
Well, to be honest, that's the thing. Before that, I really hadn't done anything but a couple of shorts that I was an EP on. And so that's the first film that I was an EP on. And that really just let me know that I could, first of all, do it. And second of all, do it with ease. It was really logistically easy. Now, the toll on my body was hard, and then it just really inspired me to start to write myself and really create. But also, I absolutely love what Issa Rae has been able to accomplish. I love what Kerry Washington does with Simpson Street. I love everything that people do in those spaces, especially the women and Black women who've done things in that spaces. Because having things out there that are written in our perspective is really important. And I just want to join the conversation with the rest of them.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. Now, Elise, what would you say is your favorite genre of movie to portray and like and role in, or just something to watch? What's your favorite genre?
That's a good question. I mean, I like a few things. I'll just say I love romantic comedies. I love what Jennifer Lopez, has been able to do in the space of romantic comedies. I loved her newest one. I love, um, again, I love everything that Kerry Washington does. I love everything that Issa Rae does. So I think for me, I love movies and television that show women in a real way. One of my favorites, and all of my friends know, I love Sex in the City. Like that's one that I felt like really portrayed women who weren't necessarily 20, but dating and figuring out life and having a lot of relationships because, it doesn't work out, but you keep going until something clicks and dealing with workplace interesting things. And I just like shows like that. They're just kind of more human stories. I also absolutely loved um Boss, the television show Boss when that came out. A lot of people didn't see that one, but I loved that one. Kelsey Grammer was the producer. That was a great show. You might want to look into that one. Um, but I also like Entourage. Like I love those type of group shows that show people trying to figure out life. I think those are things that because I again, every person is different, and I like when something is full rounded and shows different things.
Right. Now, Elise, I have to also ask because you have that lovely poster behind you, and we know a Black cult classic was definitely Hustle and Flow. I believe I was going into 12th grade when that film came out
Yeah.
and loved it at the time. So, because you've done a lot of more critically acclaimed, or I guess that one was more raw grit.
Yeah.
But like yourself, my grandfather was born and raised in Memphis, so I know it. You had to go to that
Oh.
space. So, what was that? What was filming that project like in particular?
Well, first of all, when John Singleton called me and asked me to be a part of. John Singleton is the producer of Hustle and Flow. Um, I read it, and Craig Brewer, shout out to Craig Brewer, who we're now friends. I read it and I thought, wow, this is an amazing tale. What I felt the best thing about Hustle and Flow was it was shot in Memphis. We knew it was good when we were shooting it. It was a little bitty movie. It was a little bitty. We loved the script. Um, and this is another story that I like that happened. So John Singleton had told me when we did it, this was the first project that he 100% owned, meaning he put all of his own money into it because that's when I really started to see and learn about that. He wanted to have the full control. He didn't want to have to share it with anyone else. So when we shot Hustle and Flow, it was considered an independent film when we shot it. But we took it to the Sundance Film Festival. It blew everything out the water at Sundance. We won Best Feature at Sundance Film Festival, and the film itself got into a bidding war. So the movie was shot for probably, I think he told me about $2 million. That was considered an independent film. But they did the bidding war, and I think he sold it for about $17 million to MTV Films. So for all of the people out there who are aspiring with their independent films and things like that, just be sure it's all Screen Actors Guild. We did that. We did Hustle and Flow with a Screen Actors Guild SAG low budget. So Screen Actors Guild is SAG, low budget contracts that we all got percentages if the movie did well. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like you can do it. It just has to be union. So all of you people who are out there, I know a lot of people like to shoot things on with their cameras. Just be sure file it. It's SAG. Or listen, coming to my master class is also going to be virtual, okay? Because I promise you, I'm breaking all of that stuff down in my classes. So, but yeah, you have to make sure that you do it in a SAG way. You can have your camera or whatever, but just make sure it's all SAG and all union so that you can sell it to a big studio.
Right.
Fantastic.
And that's the way to flip your coin, I must
For
say.
sure,
You
'cause
know,
that's
he was thinking
fantastic.
ahead and he was thinking smart.
He really was.
So
We got to touch on it. We mentioned it earlier. I am a Scream fiend. So coming from the, Scream universe, how do you feel about all the newer films that are being produced now, since you, of course, starred in Scream 2?
I mean, I love it. I love that it's still continuing, but I mean, give me a call. I see a couple of people have risen from the dead and,
Right.
and been a part of it. I would love look, Hallie could come with a little turtleneck, you know, come with
You know?
a little turtleneck like she been off the grid, you know.
Exactly. Bring Hallie back.
Yeah, that would be fun, but I am proud of them. I've gone to at least 5 of the premieres. Again, I'm still cool with everyone from when I did it. So, and too funny, in right after COVID, I did a pilot with David Arquette that we actually shot. So crazy, we shot it in Memphis. That's right.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
Okay.
dope.
Yes. Now let's talk about Elise, the stuff you've been doing currently, like you've been working on the Black Hamptons. Let's talk about some
Okay.
of your work you've done in this phase of your career in space, and I guess compare your more recent work to the young woman you were when you first started, and how it feels different or could feel the same based on your journey.
It doesn't feel different in terms of the sets and stuff. It doesn't. Um, I think now a lot of the roles that I do, I like certain spaces to be in. What I loved about being in the Black Hamptons is the portrayal of rich, wealthy, beautiful Black people. I loved coming to work. We shot most of my scenes in Malibu, California, and driving into work on the PCH every day with the ocean breeze and the house set being in Malibu and the vibes and shooting things and scenes with like beautiful, expensive cars and our wardrobe is. I think it's such a great thing for people to see on television.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That upper echelon.
Yeah, because it had been a while.
That representation is really important. The news that I share now, like as of right now, the show isn't coming back. There's been a lot of movement with BT and the switching and the mergers of everything, but you never know. But you never know.
True.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
For sure. But at
Yeah.
least I must say, you've had a very rich and full career. And I'm sure, people say what your legacy leaves behind. But if you were to sum up your legacy in 3 words for the future generations of young artists, filmmakers, Black actresses out there, sum up Elise's legacy in 3 words. Your words.
I followed my dreams.
We'll do 4. I like that.
Yeah. Follow my dreams.
Follow
Is
my
3.
dreams.
Follow my dreams. As simple as that.
Love it.
Yes. And we also want all of the viewers to make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions for Elise, let us know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we want to thank
Do
you
you
so
mind
much,
if I
Elise.
say, if you want to know more about my lights, camera, action event that I'm doing for the people of Memphis, it's also virtual. So you
Okay.
don't have to be in Memphis to join in. Just go to the link in my bio on my Instagram, and I think it's also on my Facebook fan page. And I'd love to see you either virtually or in person.
Fantastic.
Sounds amazing.
So much great information.
Yes.
History, new information that nobody has the exclusives
Yes,
on.
exactly. She gave us some little tidbits and some
That.
exclusive drops on Dynasty Queens. Okay.
Yes, we're forever thankful for you, Elise. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and give us your insight and let us know about you.
Thank you guys for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Good, very good. And of course, in closing, I'm Pamela Nicole, and I've got my gorgeous co-host,
Mia J.
and this has been
Dynasty Queens.
Bye.